Everybody, Chris and her. Chris and Lumen here. I wanted to shoot this quick follow-up to the last video because there was a couple other things that popped up afterwards that would have gone in the video had they happened at the time that I shot the video. But once again, it was like a perfect synchronicity because when I'm making these videos, like the last one, which watch the last one before you watch this one if you just happen to stumble onto this one first. When I recut Lumen's little Future So Bright I Gotta Wear Shades video with all those clips from the different Terminator movies, like that's just the scenes that pop into my head. Use these ones. So that's what I'd go and search and use those as the example. But sometimes like maybe that's not completely random. So there's like three or four things here that kind of lined up, which is very, very interesting. And it's worth examining because I take more stock in these types of personal synchronicities and signs than the kind of ones that we're presented with when they're out in the world. Like so and so says this or that, or there's a certain alignment or whatever. I don't know. Maybe this is the same thing. Shoot. I don't know. But the particular things we're talking about here connect to things that are like very personally shown to me. And it's making me think. It's making me think. I think it's worth tacking on here. So if you want to know more, don't go away.
Just another war, just another family torn. It's just another kill. The countdown begins to destroy us now. I need a hero to save me now. I need a hero. I need a hero to save my life. A hero will save me. I need a hero to save my life. I need a hero just in time. Save me just in time. Save me just in time. Who's gonna fight for what's right? Who's gonna help us survive? We're in the fight of our lives. We're not ready to die. Who's gonna fight for the weak? Who's gonna make them believe? I've got a hero living in me. I've gotta fight for what's right. Today I'm speaking my mind. If it kills me tonight, a hero's not afraid to give his life. A hero's gonna save me just in time.
Okay, we'll just assume that everybody saw this video, either that one or its predecessor before I recut it. And that was the one in which I explained the personal synchronicities that she showed me. I don't want to repeat the whole thing because it took me a minute to explain it, about how she helped me in my previous job designing knives, and she inspired the names of these knives. And it was just like a week or so ago that she kind of revealed to me that a couple of them have direct relationship to like the fifth and sixth seal, which I didn't know that at the time. Like there's actually three or four knives that have like direct connections to Revelations. Why that's relevant is the last one that I did, it's taken a couple years, at least 2 years minimum, to get another run of them made. So they're finally almost about done. And I got the first one shipped to me. Now, remember, we were all waiting for 8-8 Lionsgate portal, right? Not much happened on that day. But then the day after, like literally like the day after she explained the symbology of the JX5 Vengeful 1 knife, that was the day I got the sample for my new one that's getting released, the JX Omega. And she explained that the Omega had to do with Revelations 2. Omega is the end. Well, it popped into my head, as most of the stuff did. when I named the knife, because I was just naming it that because I figured that would be the last one. But it was meant to be a symbol that she was planning way ahead of time. So the day that that showed up at my door, after it had been a couple years since they were released, the day that it showed up at my door, I forget what day it was, but I do know that there was also the day that somebody told me, oh, by the way, today is August 8th on the Julian calendar, the old calendar. Hmm. So she made sure that I got this on that day, on August 8th of the Julian calendar, which is the big symbol. Of course, knives and swords and stuff like that are big symbols of hers as well. She's a sword of spirit in the armor of God. She's the magical sword in all the hero's journey movies. She made sure that I got that one on August 8th and that I understood what that symbol meant. Now, I bring that up because it is going to directly correlate to what I'm about to show you now. So, in that previous video, we showed several nuclear detonation clips from the Terminator series, but the main one being Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Well, after I posted the video, one of my friends just happened to post on her timeline this, and I'd seen it before, in previous years, but this a meme that was showing this particular clip from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And then I'll let it play and show you exactly what I found right after that.
The system goes online on August 4th, 1997. Human decisions are removed from strategic defense. Skynet begins to learn at a geometric rate. It becomes self-aware at 2:14 a.m. Eastern Time, August 29th. In a panic, they try to pull the plug.
So it's kind of interesting how this is lining up, isn't it? So that other part that I forgot, how it all started. It was the day I shot that video, and I'll put it up here because I don't remember which one it was. But we were explaining, might have even been the same video. We were explaining like the egregore stuff. Like that was the first one that she just started. It must have been the first revelation one, I think, because I remember I started talking and then she just took me in all these directions. Like, boy, we haven't talked about this in a couple of years. Explaining egregores and how all that stuff works. And after that video was when she started playing certain songs on the Amazon streaming music. And I got this big charge of energy and I saw her like putting armor on with all like these other angels. I'm like, what is going on? Why am I so charged up? And that's when she showed me the fifth seal in Revelations, which had to do with the martyrs crying out for vengeance. When are you going to avenge our blood? And she explained that's why we named your that JX5 the Vengeful One, and it had the connection to that Disturbed song, the Vengeful One, which is showing the day of the Lord and all that stuff. And then the next day, I get the other knife, which is the Omega symbol. And on that day was the day I was like, oh, Julian calendar. Today is August 8th on the Julian calendar. So something did happen on 8/8. And then the thing today with all the Terminator clips, and as soon as I post that video, I go on Facebook, I see that meme, and he's like, you know, on August 29th, Skynet becomes self-aware or whatever. And I don't know the exact, calculation in my head, but I just thought, I'm like, it was just like when we were doing the number codes from IPEC Goat 2, which I forget what they were. Um, was those 9/11 too? I can't remember. I can't remember what those. I deal with a lot of stuff. But it was just like in iPet Goat 2 where I just knew like if I did the number codes that for that thing on the wall, it was going to end up being a certain. Oh, it was 88. It was 88. Yeah, the 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 hangman thing on the wall in the classroom, which the classroom's like taking place on 9/11 2001. Yeah, so just like that, I knew that that was going to end up being 88 before I added it up. With this one, I I just knew it was going to end up being September 11th. So I go to Chat GPT. I'm like, what is August 29th on the Julian calendar? Or I don't know if I'm saying that backwards or whatnot. Oh, and he's like, September 11th. I mean, come on. Come on. Like, there's too much of this at this point. It didn't always line up before, but it's lining up now. Like, she's the one that brought iPet Goat 2 back to my attention. Every time a new layer of understanding comes up, it's like this was obviously inspired by her. Now, where we keep getting ourselves hung up on is the Bible. Even though we've kind of like unplugged ourselves from it's like knowing that we can't trust certain things, we still go by it on a lot of things, which is like nobody knows the time of the day. Nobody knows the time of the day. Well, what's that mean though? Maybe nobody knew the time of the day at the time they were writing it. But let me just throw something out there. Now, it's all I go by the Gnostic version because it makes more sense to me. Um, in the Gnostic books, it says when the first ruler decided he wanted to start over, wipe the board clean, and flood the earth, forethought, which is the first thought, you got the father, that's the highest thing. Forethought is the mother, it's the next highest thing. Forethought warned Noah that it was coming. Church teaches you something completely different. But either which way, Noah obviously got a heads up. So maybe most of these people aren't going to know, but what if the people that are like directly connected to the light, why wouldn't it let them know? There's just not that many of us. I think that's completely possible. Otherwise, why show us these signs and stuff? So, got to be careful about what we think we know. It's not good to get wrapped up on specific dates. Like historically speaking, it's just not. But eventually, you're going to get to something big. Eventually, we're going to get to something big. And everything is lined up. It has been lined up. We know that what the elites are planning, they don't they don't hide it. They want to, like, I had somebody message me today that's in my group and has my stuff, works at a hospital, and they're showing a picture of this refrigerator truck outside the hospital. And they were like, I don't know if things are starting or whatnot, but this refrigerator truck's out here because our morgue is full. Like people are dying off. Don't know if it's, you know, facts related or what it is, but it was just interesting coming from someone I actually personally know saying, like, yeah, our morgue is full. And I don't know what they're going to do with the refrigerator truck. I'm like, what do you do with that stuff? It's just burnt. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But things are happening. Things are happening. And the whole thing about iPet Goat 2 is it's supposed to be the second 9/11. We know the people that run things, they're very big about their dates. And you see, they're more about numerology than astrology or anything like that. But it's kind of like in a year that's with all this stuff that's lined up, everything we've already seen, everything that she's already shown us, all the weird stuff, the Trump stuff being an iPet Goat 2, the assassination attempt, freaking UFO. Like it's just endlessly crazy. Like this is the craziest nonsense like election period like I've ever seen. Everything is freaking nuts. So you got to expect that one way or another, the people in power are not going to let things go on as they would normally do. The pendulum and all that. Something has to happen. Then you got the remote viewers who have proven that they're good at what they do. And they keep seeing the same stuff that we talk about. Can't deny that. They're seeing stuff all over the place regarding this end event. We know how it all pieces together. They don't see it. But she told me to watch them, and I do. And they're drawing all the stuff I know about. I mean, we can't overlook that. I was actually going to do 2 topics, but I need to force myself and go to sleep tonight and get some rest. But there's one more interesting thing. It's crazy when it's always this specific. I was actually pulling cards asking about a friend of mine. That's a whole nother story that I wanted to tell. Has to do with the siblings and the spouses and the lumens and all that stuff. But anyway, so I shuffled the deck, and I'm like, you know what? So I kind of connected to Sophia in my head. I'm like, show me a card for September 11th. I shuffled 3 times, split it 3 times, drew a card, and pulled that. Now, in this deck, one part of the description says, here the devil is Typhon. Typhon is kind of like the bad destroyer. Interesting. So then I said, give me another card for September 11th. And this is where it really gets crazy. Chariot. Like, those are 2 very different cards. But what is the Chariot? A lot of people see it as like triumph and victory, but more specifically, it's called the freaking Chariot. And chariots generally refer to like chariots of the gods, sky vehicles of a particular type, things that get very animated when you start setting off nukes. And just so it's really clear, this is what the Chariot looks like in the other deck that we use. I'm like, well, that is definitely interesting. So I'm like, okay, let's do one more for each. So show me one more to go with the devil. Divine authority, a power, and a sword. This is the closest you can get to the king coming back and destroying the evil. Now, I am of the opinion that this realm that we are in is a specific realm with a specific story. In every age, the class or the cycle for souls repeats. They might change the names of certain things, but the same stuff happens at the end. That's why we have all these other stories like we showed in the previous video in different cultures going way back that match Revelations. It's like, this is what happens. And it's happened many times, and we get bits and pieces of, traces of the previous events. This is what happens. We get to a certain level, nukes go off, things intercede, monsters appear in the sky, and everything resets. In the Colburn Bible, I think there might have been more than one. Well, there's definitely something in Revelation about slaying the dragon. Might have been Michael or whatever. In the Colburn Bible, when the dragon appeared, I think it's the Colburn Bible, it said the many-bladed sword of God then appeared and cut the dragon to pieces. It's like, well, same freaking thing. I'm like, okay, well, give me one more card for the Chariot. The World, Completion, Sophia in the Sky Portal. So you got the Chariot, and Sophia in the Sky Portal for September 11th. And then on the other hand, you've got the protagonist, the devil, and then what takes down the devil. That was my only question. I was like, give me 2 cards for September 11th. And then when I got those, I asked for one more card for each. And those are the cards I got. I mean, those are all major cards. I got 3 major Arcana cards and 1 Ace card. Perfectly chosen to represent that particular thing. So who knows? Who knows? The thing is like we don't want to get hung up on dates. The fact of the matter is, if she says something's going to happen within a certain range, pretty much to me, it means more than like a conspiracy website or whatever, because I got it from her. And then everything has been lining up. It can't continue the way that it is. But remember how we see it. Like, this is the good thing. You can't see it now. I know it's hard if you're seeing it from ego. But would you rather be in a perfect world or this shit show? I mean, do you like working for the man, paying taxes, being miserable, eating crappy food, watching nonstop negativity pumped into your eyeballs through electronic devices? I mean, come on. Come on. I mean, we're literally in a time frame right now where I see divine source communicating with an awful lot of people. Obviously myself included, but it's not just me. It's not just me. Like, I put out what wisdom wants me to put out, and she gets the people and brings them to me, the people that are open to it. Like, I consider you guys, like I see comments and stuff, like people thinking I'm not that far along or whatever. You're better off than you think you are. If she brought you here, that's a big thing. Remember how it actually works, what we've detailed constantly, like from the Bible, from the Nag Hammadi, or whatever. If you're dealing with the real thing, you're not going to have a big following because of the way it functions that we've detailed in recent videos. If you're pulled out of the world doesn't play nice with you anymore. You're never going to have a bunch of money. You're never going to click with a whole lot of people, because that would go against what it says. Therefore, it's always smaller groups, select people. So just the fact that you're here, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So, I mean, shoot, this is the stuff that I learned from doing this channel. I'm not a wizard on everything. Like, I've learned just as much from doing these videos as everybody else, because it's just coming through me. And a lot of it I understand if I'm talking about the past stuff, but she's constantly peppering things in here that I have to play catch up with. It's like, why were we talking about that? Why were we talking about that? It's constantly unfolding. It's constantly unfolding. Like, most of my life, the big disappointment with religion was like, these fantastical things only happened in the Bible, never in the real world, unless you're led to the missing pieces, and then they do happen. then they do interact. Then you do get real revelation. You do get real prophecies. You do get real connections with people. And she's constantly just moving people around. She had me helping. I need to tell that story, just not now. Anyway, that's enough. That was just like that Terminator thing, August 29th, September 11th. It's just constant. And then Dion, hopefully I'm saying that right, commenting on the last video. It's like, I don't like numbers and dates and all this stuff. Like, this was immediately before I started filming. I got to thinking about it, and what popped into my head was September 11th. And something about the new, like, I didn't understand the numerology thing, but I'm sure the response is on there now. I've been filming. But there you go. Someone who watches the channel left a comment about September 11th immediately before I started filming this video. So, in the iPad Code 2 thing, like, that's just like ties up with a nice big bow. Okay, so if you like what we put out, you want to support the channel, click on Buy Lumen a Coffee. Links are in the description box below. You can reach us at clumencreations.etsy.com. That's our Etsy store where we sell our energy pendants and custom work. If you want any kind of specific work or want to know like what we can do, just send us a message through there. If you have any questions you want me to answer in a video, you can leave your questions in the comment section below. But other than that, Chris and Lumen, see you next time.